A hearty welcome to the Authoropod podcast. I'm your host Revati, and today I've got a lovely, lovely guest with me, Sheetal Agarwal. Sheetal Agarwal has been a professional business writer for the past 15 years, of which 9 were in print and television journalism. Her pursuit of creative writing led her to the world of poems. In May 2022, she published her first book, a collection of English poems titled Colorful Pebbles. She now writes poems in English as well as in Hindi. Her poems have been published across various platforms. These include Livewire, Indian Periodical, Indian Review, Amar Ujala, to name a few. While writing is her first love, dancing, music, and meditation also hold a special place in her heart. She lives in Mumbai with her husband and a lovely daughter. You can read more poems written by her at her Instagram handle, and it's got the same name, Sheetal Agarwal. So let's go and meet her. Over to you, Sheetal. Hi. Thank you for gracing our podcast today. How are you today?
Hi, Revati. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Thank you for having me on this podcast and looking forward, looking forward. Thank you so
Beautiful.
much.
Beautiful. So, Sheetal, let's begin with the usual question that I have for all the guests. How did writing happen to you?
Well, I often say this, I often feel this. I've been an accidental writer.
Ah,
I have done my, I've done my academics. I did a, MBA finance. I did MCom in accounts. So I was very much into becoming an equity research analyst. You know, but but as life would have it, through campus placements, I got into NETV Profit, and then the love for media, the love for journalism began, and it just and I just kept going. So then from there, NDTV Profit, Business Standard, these are the two esteemed organizations I had a chance to work with, and I fell in love with journalism. It was an affair that lasted 9 years. Sometimes even now I wonder, should I go back? But yeah, so that's how writing as such, because when you are an analyst and when you are a journalist, writing forms a very big part of your work.
true.
Even if it is on TV, on television also, you write scripts which are more visual in nature. That's how writing as such happened. And then when I changed when I left media and I went on a trajectory where I changed the course of my career, a lot of people, a lot of MDs, a lot of reputed people, seniors told me that, I can write really well. And that's when I thought, well, let me expand the horizon and write a little more, get into storytelling a little bit, get into creative writing a little bit. And that's where my career also took me. So yeah, that's how it is.
So, okay, so something into totally into I wouldn't say that it's quite a male dominated field, but I haven't I this is a very rare case that I've come across an author who has been into equity and stuffs like that. And that's quite a serious field if I'm not
Yes.
wrong. And
Yes, it is. It
how
is.
and a sudden transition to creative writing. So did you get a proper professional training, or is it came naturally to you?
Well, I think, there's a very small incident which actually made me think. So when I was in Business Standard, there was a at Tata Group, there was an event, there was a press event, and I had an exclusive on the Tata Sons chairman being named Mr. N. Chandrasekharan and all that, and then I just happened to have an exclusive. I was the only journalist there.
Hmm.
I was there when he came into the building, and his colleagues came down to congratulate from TCS. So to give you context, from TCS chairman, he was becoming the chairman of Tata Sons, which was
Oh, wow.
huge.
Hmm.
Tata Sons is a parent
Yes.
company.
Yes.
I was there, and so while we did our exclusive, I got my video and everything. But then back in office, they told me, write a mood piece. Okay, a mood piece. What was the mood? Since you were the only one, the entire media was outside. Okay,
Hmm.
outside the office because they were chasing him around, and I was inside. So the back in office, they told me, write a mood piece. I was
Hmm.
like, what is a mood piece? How do I write a mood? I couldn't write it. I mean, I wrote it, but it was not really. I had to eventually take help, with
Right. Right.
someone to write it, and
Hmm.
that's when I realized that this is one field that I want to explore, and that is how it happened. That is the first time I actually thought about it. Second time, of course, I started into creative writing. When I left journalism, I got into creative writing, storytelling. I think then it became natural. Then there was this thought of the poems actually write themselves first in your mind before
Right.
they actually before you sit down to write them. I mean, that is something that most of us poets experience. That happened, and then I had my first child and the only child in the 13th year of our marriage. So after long waiting, and I think that was a blessing. Just being with her, just singing lullabies to her, I think I just started creating my own. There are those which I have not put up anywhere. They're totally personal, but there are those things. That's how actually this whole writing of poems propelled and really got a big push for me. That personal journey of mine, and I that's how I when she turned one, I published my first anthology of poems, which is Colorful Pebbles. It's like a first birthday present to her from me. So yeah, that's how it is.
That's really beautiful. So here are two things that I would like to share here. Firstly, that unless and until somebody is posed with a challenge, we don't realize our creativity, our talent, and so even if it was something unexplored for you, when it was posed as a challenge to you during that a meeting of yours with the TCS person, and this happened, and you understood that this was your calling. And secondly, thanks to you for sharing this beautiful personal journey of yours with us, and it's a lovely thing that mothers, when you become a mother, there's
Yes,
an entirely a different horizon that you explore. So that
yes, it
happened.
changes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So please tell us what business writing is and what expertise one needs to gain to become a professional business writer.
See, I feel a basic understanding of the business. So my MBA college really taught me enough and more, and I have not used even the complete of all of it that I learned in college, because they teach you very well. They teach you about HR, marketing, finance, and all the functions very well. So basically, there should be this passion to know about business. ये business में अच्छा revenue तो ऐसे आ रहा है, profit कैसे आ रहा है?
Hmm.
And that keenness to there are these huge documents that a company looking to uh, company coming for an IPO normally files prospectus, which is a huge document, normally 1,000 pages, 500 pages, very technical document, very legal document, compliance driven, but it has everything about a company you ever need to know: the current, the history, the background, the numbers, everything. So I think it is primarily that the passion to understand the business, to understand what the company is doing, to ask the right questions, to then transform those into your investment decisions. अच्छा ठीक है, मैं इसमें ये पैसे लगा रही हूँ या लगा रहा हूँ ये स्टॉक में, बट ये कंपनी क्या है, ये स्टॉक में इतना पैसा है, इतना ये स्टॉक इज प्राइस एट सो मच, बट व्हाट इज द स्टोरी बिहाइंड द कंपनी, विल इट हैव लेग्स टू रन इन द फ्यूचर? So passion, I think that's most important. And of course, what you learn in your MBA, what you learn in your normal course of academics, it helps a lot.
Hmm.
That is more than enough. And you should then be able to read the statements and, yeah, that's where it all comes from.
All right. Okay. So the business writing domain, it sounds quite like a controversial and a risky topic to begin with.
Yes.
So, how
Yes.
is it for you? And please do share your experiences with it.
Well, I've had my share of
Risks.
ups and downs there. See,
Right.
because what happens is there are two different forms. One is TV and one is print, which I have been exposed to. Yeah, newspapers and television. So when you're on television, the window of preparation often is very small, because you're
Hmm.
breaking news and you're just abhi merger announced hua hai, or you don't even know which is the company that Infosys has acquired, and you're put up on the news and you're supposed to analyze and say whether it's good or bad.
Right.
So there is that window, which is very short, and still you have to be very accurate and make sure, because the world is watching you, the companies you're talking about are watching you, and they may put you up for it, that it could actually be as serious as a case in extreme scenarios. Thankfully I never had to go through that, but you have to be very very careful about it. So that is there in print. Again, though you get a lot of time to prepare, for newspaper articles. So in print, while you get a lot more time to prepare and research and analyze what is happening, but the challenge there is it is a written word. So anybody, everybody can hold you accountable for it anytime. You know what I mean? So agar, even if there have been instances where I've written negative articles on companies and they've
Hmm.
come back, what is the source of this? Why have you put this number here? And then I have actually, thankfully, because of the research that we do was very solid, I would give them, this is the source, and see, this is the number, and this is, we have enough backup so that nothing can be can be held
Possible.
against us. So there is a
Yes.
lot of responsibility that comes with journalism. Unfortunately, yeah, in television nowadays it's more entertainment, and television news nowadays is not journalism anymore. But
Oh.
when it comes to business writing,
Hmm.
yes, there is still a lot of serious and authenticity is there. It is not fallen to that level, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, yeah.
But yes, that is something like it is just like mathematics. It's fact. Business is all about facts, and nobody can fiddle with it, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. So,
Hmm.
and like I said, there've been cases where someone was fired from his job because he wrote something on a company, and the company's chairman, reached
Hmm.
out to the editor, and there have been instances like that. And there was an
Hmm.
IPO of, I will not name here, there was an IPO IT company conglomerate,
Hmm.
which is coming with an IPO, huge company, huge group. And a lot of us had written what was there. The fact that there was a lot of exit in the company. It has been promising that they will do so well, but they've not been doing so well. So as a journalist, it's our job to write that this is a risk. While we also wrote the positives about the company, we also wrote the risks. But then
Right.
the person got really offended and he was like, "What have you done?" And. So there is that aspect that you have to balance out. So there is that aspect that you have to be very, very careful about. And as long as you do your work fine, you research enough, I think you should be able.
That's true. So, be it any domain, irresponsible writing or journalism as such is never entertained. That is one thing. And also, uh, people also need to understand there is a lot of hard work that happens there, and people who write about it, they need to put themselves into the person's shoes before reporting anything. So,
Yes. The
right.
understanding of the business is very, very important.
Very important. True, true. All right. So, a drastic transition from something quite happening to something which needs calm and serenity. So, you discussed with us about the Eureka moment, the birth of your daughter, the lovely journey. So, how has it been for you? So, once you started writing this, do you want to stick to this particular field, or do you want to explore more and go into other fields as well of writing?
Well, you never say never is what I have learned in my life. Though right now I'm only looking at poems, but again, poetry was something which I had said, me and poetry never. That I had
Ah,
said a few years back. It's the same me now writing so much of poetry. So never say never. You never know where life will take us. But yes, as far as poetry is concerned, I love writing. I love. I think it helps you grow as a person as well. It helps you express yourself better. At least it has done that to me,
wow.
and gives you more clarity of thought. So I continue to write in English and in Hindi. I have also now started. Over the past 1 year, I've started performing at open mics, performing at shows. I recently did my own uh, first curated show
Yes.
with a few other talented artists, and so that will continue. So writing a lot of workshops I will attend.
Hmm.
Hopefully I'll get to attend. Then I'll try to get published in different platforms. These are all validations, right, that you seek. One, workshops help you enhance your skill further. You can never be in our field you can never be complacent when it comes to creative writing. You never say, oh, I write very well. Of course, maybe you do write well, but then there is always scope for learning, and there is always scope for enhancing the skill. And at the same time, when your work gets published in any of the newspapers or websites or those platforms, it is again a validation of your work.
Right.
And that's what it is. I mean, sometime maybe in the future, I would like to publish a book of Hindi poems as well,
Hmm.
since Hindi is something which I have started writing Hindi recently. But interestingly, English has been my karam bhumi, so to say, because मैंने लिखा, अभी भी लिख रही हूँ. I still continue with my job and my career. वो English में ही लिखती हूँ.
Hmm.
But Hindi is like a matrubhumi and something. It's the first language, the language that I actually think in. And so yeah, I'll continue to dabble between both the forms, both the languages and the writing. Poetry, yes, for now it is that, but never know where life will take us.
So, yes, you told us that you balance between English and Hindi poems. How do you manage to write the nuancing part of it? Like, there are some very intricate things that you try to bring in. When somebody portrays themselves as a Hindi poet, as such, all right. So we know that we get a understanding that yes, so this person is a proper qualified Hindi poet, and he'll be using all serious and very uh, words which we cannot easily understand. And
Yeah.
you told me you're easily dabbling between these two languages. So are you managing the same, and how confident are you that does it naturally come to you, the flow of words, or is it like quite colloquial? Your writing of yours, like the words that you use. Tell us about that. Your the way you write, your form of writing.
So I think for me, yes, both the languages come naturally to me because,
Hmm.
like I said, Hindi is something which I have grown up with, which is what we speak in at home, and Bollywood music, and
Yes.
that is something that we've all binged on. We continue to binge on, so it's very natural. English, over the years I've been writing in English, and we are expected to have and I continue to as a in my career, so for me it is also about writing a poem is more like an exhalation. You just feel something at that moment and you just jot down what you have written. The process that I follow is, after I've written it, I revisit it, 2 3 days, after 2 3 days, or whenever I get the time. I read it, and I read it from the lens of a writer. I mean, of a reader,
Read.
not as a writer. I read it how an audience would react to it, or how a reader would react to it. And of course, there is a bit of a difference in the when you perform a poetry in person, on a stage,
Hmm.
and when you write it, and it is for the books to be published in a written format. There is that difference also that we have to navigate.
Hmm.
And when you're performing, it's more conversational, and the
Right.
easy words are appreciated a lot more. In the written world, and I have been a writer myself, you always appreciate that little bit of complexity in
Right.
words, the little
Right.
bit of difficult words. You
Correct.
always you think, oh, I'm writing something very good. The moment the moment you write, you use heavy words or big words and pure
Right.
words. But I think so. The key is to find a balance. If I use so many heavy words that my audience or my reader is closing the book or looking at a dictionary every time with every second word, then it's not serving the purpose. At the end of the day, yes, we are writing for our personal satisfaction, but we are also writing for a reader, for an audience. I think it's about finding that balance,
Hmm.
and um, making it in that way. Of course, when you know, if there are, again, like I said, certain things are very personal which you don't want to share, then you can do what you want to do. It doesn't matter what word you're using, what your form you're using. It's fine. But when
Yes.
you want someone to read it, then you have to have that balance and you have to think about it. So edit your I try to not be very attached with my work, and I try to not be the first
Hmm.
fan of my own poems, so to speak. So yeah, so I try to read and revisit and edit my own poem as much as I can, and that gives me the confidence, and that makes me sharper as a writer, I believe.
Beautiful. So keeping yourself as a writer and also somebody who reads it as a reader. So understanding that what a reader requires. So that is, I would say that that is the first step as a successful writer to be.
Yes, yes, and I think that comes from my career. I think that comes from my journey,
Correct.
where I've written for clients, I've written for others, So right now I write for clients, I write in my company, I write MD's messages, and it's for others. It's something which will be called theirs. So then you have to be ready for all feedback and complete thrashing of your writing as well, you know.
Yes.
So it is very humbling. It's very, very humbling, the entire activity and the entire process.
Right, right. So your experience with open mics. So when you
Yes.
write, it is all a private thing. So you enjoy your space, you enjoy your timing, and you take your own time and you relax and you write. But open mics, you know how things are.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So open mics are very inspiring for me, to be honest,
Hmm. Hmm.
because in every open mic there must be someone who has inspired me by their delivery, the way they perform, the way they deliver, the way they connect with the audience. Someone would have inspired me by their words. Oh, this person has managed to maintain the pure words and not given to the pressure of pleasing an audience. And then there are people who do both. There are not many, but then there are still people who manage to do both. They are very good performers, connect with the audience, and maintain the level of writing, if I may use that term, and they maintain a certain caliber of writing, and haven't given in to those pressures. So I think it's very inspiring and very motivating for me to be performing there, to be as an audience. Of course, you can analyze and learn and get inspired. As a performer, the interesting thing is that even the silence of an audience talks to you, even when an audience is silent. So when I perform a piece, so after this Ajikar case happened, I had written a poem on rape and how would a mother feel if she sees what has been done to her daughter. So it was a very emotional poem, and then there was complete silence. I've recited it at a couple of open mics, and at each open mic there's been complete silence, which means that they understand
Right.
every word and they feel every word. And then there is different kind of silence, right, where it is indifference to what you I felt that as well initially when I started my open mics and was not aware of the difference between the written word and the performance
Hmm.
piece. So then you perform something and you expect, acha isme, people will appreciate it, they'll be my
Right.
you know
Right. Huh.
but you don't get them. So there is that silence also, which is indifference. And that one, the one which is indifferent, again makes you wonder, makes you go back to the drawing room. Okay, fine, this worked in print, this worked in publishing, but why is it not worked at the performance, at the open mics? So what is it that I can do to make the people more engrossed, to make the people feel the message that I'm trying to give, to
Hmm.
make the people come along with me? So
True.
I think it's all a part of learning,
Right. So
all
and
these
it's
open
been,
mics and all these platforms.
so far it's been strong. So nice. It's like quite a people like who managed to happen standing behind the mic. Many of them don't even realize and they fail to connect with the audience and they just keep going on. And
Yes.
probably it's because of the influence that they have, or I don't know how to define it. So they just keep going on and
Also because they don't
yeah,
get I mean, in daily life, they may not be getting the opportunity to, recite the poem to someone or recite their
right,
storytelling to someone.
right.
So, you get so engrossed in your own thing that you kind of forget. I've been there in the early days,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes. So you did realize and you did understand that what people require and you've been working on it. Beautiful. Yeah.
yes,
So
yes,
and also our audience are quite polite. So they're like they don't tell you on face that if they are happy or not happy with. If they're happy, yeah, they do it extremely. And if they're not quite satisfied with what we have written, so indifference and silence, that is the only punishment the person gets, the presenter gets.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So yeah, so that's yeah, that our society is quite polite, I would say, in that case.
Yeah, I think also the platform, na, the place that we are, open mics is a place where there are all artists,
Hmm.
mostly,
Yeah.
and all writers, all artists. So I think they understand what the other person is going through. It is a big deal to come up on stage and be able to
Right.
recite what you're
Right.
reciting. It is a completely different thing how confident you are of your writing. You're still confident enough to go out and say it, irrespective of your own doubts about your own writing.
Right.
So I think because it's all artists, they are also very, very supportive, but it's also important to go out and be in an area where the audience is all, they
Right.
could be artists, they could be businessmen, they could be all sorts of colors, all sorts of backgrounds. That's when your real test of your poem or your performance really happens.
Happens. Right. Right. Beautiful. So it was quite a lovely conversation having with you, Sheetal, beginning from where you started writing, what you were educated with, and how you transitioned being a business writer to a creative writer. and you are balancing between Hindi and English poems. Lovely. And thanks for sharing your lovely, lovely journey with us. Arthropod wishes you more and more best things to happen with writing. And may you conduct more workshops and may you conduct more open mics like these. That I guess one is going to happen.
Well, yeah, that is one
Yeah.
lined up on the 22nd,
Ha.
which is again, yeah, which is at Earthen Fest, Winter Soily, which is again a very sustainable, farm. It is a farm where they grow
Mhm.
medicines for cancer patients, and they have invited certain performers. It was again selected. They selected certain performers
Hmm.
for that evening. So I will be performing. It's on the 22nd, 4 p.m. And yeah, it would be lovely to for all the Mumbai folks and the Navi. Actually, it's in Navi Mumbai, Khargar. So the people from Pune can also hop in
Yeah.
the bus if they are free that day.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to as well.
Right. So may you grow more, may you learn more in the journey, and all the best to you. And thanks for gracing our podcast today. All the very best, Sheetal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Revati. Just one thing I want to say that Authoropod is a platform I've been connected to for the past few months, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing a great job, of supporting newer poets, newer writers, and publishing their work in their magazine, putting it out on their social media platforms. So Authoropod is doing very well, and all the best wishes from me to them, and may they grow from strength to strength. And thank you for having me for this
Thank you. Thank
conversation.
you very much for your wishes. All the credit goes to Deshri, who's the founder of
Yes,
Authoropod. So yeah, so
yes.
thank you very much for understanding and recognizing the hard work that goes behind it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Sheetal. Thank you very much.